Alright, what's up y'all? We are back again with the Necromancer, and I've got some more skill sets to show off. Now, some of the more observant few of you probably noticed that there's something different. There's something not quite right about what's going on here. Mostly this right here. She is Paragon 119 now. Why? Well, because that little button on the main screen that said PTR copy, I believe. Well, I pressed it, and what that did was copied all of my characters from the non-beta side and imported a copy of all of those characters to the beta side. But in doing so, wiped clean the original Necromancer that I started in my previous video. So I had to start all over again. But in doing so, I was able to get my Hellfire Ring, which I was telling you about. So that was really nice. And I was able to kind of power level her pretty quickly. And you can see I've got a whole bunch of new equipment. And we're actually starting to look like a Necromancer finally. Look at how sick this armor is. I mean, the goat bone helm there, the shoulder pad is signature Necromancer for Diablo 2. So that's pretty sick. Anyway, I hit level 35, and I figured, you know, we're halfway to 70, so might as well take a break, start recording some of the new skills I picked up. So, first off, you're going to notice my Bone Spikes ability, which you saw me use in the original video, is a little bit different. It shoots one spear now. But, let's see if I can find some enemies. But this one spear has the ability to chain to other enemies. So, I'll show that off real quick.
Now this is more like it.
Yep, here we go. So we're just gonna, yep, right there. Oh, and don't worry about that, that lava pool. That is just an ability of the Hellfire Ring, which, you know what, I'll take off for the sake of just seeing the abilities themselves. So, yeah, and it attacks super quickly. I mean, and it does a pretty decent amount of damage, so I really like that. That's the one I've been using to power level her. Anyway, we're going to go back to primary abilities. So you already saw Sudden Impact in the last one. She also has a Frost Spike rune now at level 35, and, you know, those are the other levels you can get there. But I'm just going to show it off, see what it looks like. And this particular Frost Spike slows the enemies it hits, so that's really useful. We're gonna take care of these guys, maybe. Oh boy. This isn't gonna be just me playing through Gathering. I'm just gonna show you the abilities I do have then, and that's gonna be the end of it. So this is gonna be a fairly shorter video. Anyway, so that was that one. Then my secondary abilities we've got at level 35. My Bone Spear is almost completely done. I don't unlock another one until level 53. But the Blighted Marrow, you saw the Teeth, which is Diablo 2 Necromancer, totally. It's basically that. It pierces through enemies, but it doesn't increase damage for enemies hit or anything like that. It's just kind of a spread bone spear. Then the other rune, Crystallization, reduces enemy attack speed and increases my attack speed for each enemy hit. It looks like an ice spear, basically. Then Shatter, instead of piercing, now detonates on the first enemy hit. So instead of the Bone Spear going through enemies, it'll actually detonate like that on the first enemy hit. So that's pretty sweet. I haven't really used the Bone Spear much because I have been using the Skeletal Mage ability. You've seen the Skeletal Mage. I summoned him in the first one. I'm just going to pick out some of the ones that are very different. Contamination is... The Gift of Death, I'll just do this in order. The Gift of Death, Risen Mage leave a corpse behind when they die or expire. So that is pretty self-explanatory. The Skeletal Mage Contamination, however, is a little bit different because they don't actually shoot at enemies in particular. They kind of stay in one spot and release auras. And they don't move, they just stay there. And so it's kind of like a landmine type of thing. And then the Skeleton Archer is basically the same thing as the Mage, where he'll follow you around and shoot at stuff, but each time they attack, it increases your attack speed. So that's pretty sweet. And then the Singularity is the one I've been using, which is awesome. It summons an all-powerful minion. Basically, it's a gigantic mage who does a super amount of damage, and he tears through bosses. I mean, just rips through them. So that is the one I've been using, but the side effect to that is it consumes all essence. So I'm completely out of essence now, so I've actually got to go gather some more essence off of some enemies real quick. And then I can continue to show you some of the abilities you get halfway through completely leveling this character. Oh, I forgot I still had this one up. Okay, and then, you know what? I'll show off this guy real quick. Yeah, he's super powerful. Okay, let's finish this off. And then we will go to our our essence skills, I guess we'll call it. So Corpse Explosion has been outstanding early on. Bloody Mess is the rune I use. It just increases the size of the Corpse Explosion. This one, Close Quarters, only explodes the corpses immediately around you, but it deals increased damage. So, and then Shrapnel basically blows these out in a cone away from you, so you can kind of direct where you want it to explode. So we'll show you that. Kind of like that. See how it went in a cone there? But yeah, so that's Corpse Explosion. Corpse Lance. You saw that in the first one a little bit too, I believe. So yeah, so the runes you get with this one: shredding splinters. Each lance slows the target and reduces its damage, which is brittle touch. Enemies become brittle, increasing their chance to be crit each time they're hit with Corpse Lance. So that's pretty sweet. If you're taking on a boss or something, you can like super crit them. And then Ricochet. Corpse Lance has a chance to ricochet to one additional target. So it's starting to look like the Arcane Wave from the Wizard, where it bounces from target to target. I don't actually have a target here to use it. Yes, I do. Just like that. Yeah. So that's the Corpse Lance. It's a sweet looking ability. I really hope it gets more powerful as it goes on. Spend health to launch an additional... Okay, so yeah, it kind of... I can't wait to see those. Those are pretty sweet. Devour is an ability I've never used, but consume nearby corpses to restore essence per corpse. So the runes you get with that increase maximum life for each corpse devoured, and additionally consumes your minions for essence per minion killed. I mean, if you want to treat your minions like that, that is the rune for you right there. But my minions are unionized, and I can't do that to them. So we're gonna do Devour real quick to get back some of this essence, and yeah, that's about what Devour is. I mean, it's not it's pretty self-explanatory. Actually, I didn't want to start fighting these guys again, but so we got Devour, and then Revive. This one is pretty fun. Target an area of reviving fallen enemies to fight for you for a time. Again, for a time. The runes we get with that, well, next, I'll get that next level, but Personal Army, damage taken is reduced for each revived minion active, and Horrific Return. When you revive a corpse, nearby enemies run in fear. So we'll just click that one on for right now, and then I'll show you Revive. And look at that. I got a bunch of these guys following me for a little bit. So it does revive them in the state that they were down in. It's not like some just random thing. You can revive any enemies. I mean, I've revived bloaters and those huge dudes before. And these guys are actually lasting a little while. There we go. Okay. So that's all the corpse abilities. Next, we're going to go into Reanimation. This is the bread and butter of the Necromancer to me. This is where the Necromancer becomes a Necromancer. Command Skeletons is the first one you unlock. I think it unlocks at level 7 or 12. It's one of those super early levels, but the moment you activate this, you start summoning skeletons. You don't need enemy corpses to summon your skeletons from. She just automatically, passively resurrects skeletons. And you have a maximum of 7 that she resurrects too. So the runes that come with this are command skeletons, which is reduce the cost to command your skeletons, which is another thing the Necromancer can do in this that he couldn't do in Diablo 2. You can actually command your skeletons to attack a specific enemy. So that reduces the cost of your essence to do that. Frenzy rune, commanded skeletons go into a frenzy, gaining increased attack speed for the duration, which is pretty useful. And dark mending. Skeletal minions will heal you while being commanded. So we're going to turn that on right now. And see that? Just passively. I'm not even doing anything. She just passively resurrects skeletons around her until we get to 7. And these are not timed. They are permanent, which is what I've been hoping for. They follow you around like crazy, and that's just them. That's what they look like. So far, I haven't seen any differential with the skeleton actual figures themselves. They all just wield these two-handed swords. But like I said, you can command them. Whoops, that is the totally wrong key. You can command them to attack a specific target, like this guy back here. And I'll go attack him. So that is the command skeletons option. Now, we have other reanimation options. Command golem, which is obviously another necromancer staple. Excuse me, I can't talk today. But so the first one you start off with is no room, and then you get the flesh golem pretty quickly. We'll just show you the flesh golem real quick. And he is a disgusting looking son of a bitch. But the flesh golem is useful because you can command him as well, and what he does is he attacks an area and then explodes and leaves behind corpses for you. So you can use corpse explosion. So say you're fighting a boss, you can send your golem to go attack the boss if there's no minions around, and suddenly around said boss there's a bunch of bodies you can use corpse explosion on to do some super damage, and he reanimates immediately. So
give it more time.
That's pretty awesome. I do like the golem a lot in this game. Well, while he's still regenerating, I will show you the other reanimation skill, which is Army of the Dead. It's not exactly what you think. You don't get to summon a massive army of skeletons to fight next to you. Initially, you do summon a massive army of death to pummel a target location, which, by the way, sounds incredible. So, Blighted Grasp, hands raised from the ground and deal damage to enemies. So it's basically like the Witch Doctor's Raise Dead ability where the hands come up and slow enemies and damage them. It's pretty much exactly what that looks like. I can show you that real quick. That is not what I wanted to do. I totally fudged that one up. So I'm going to consume some corpses here real quick. Whoa. There we go. Not much, but it's enough for what I need. Army of the Dead. That's what I've been trying to get at. So I'm going to show you this one. So this is what Army of the Dead looks like in its... that's Bone Spirit. Okay. In its hands raised Blighted Grasp rune. Like I said, exactly what the Witch Doctors looks like, except it's skeletons instead of zombie hands. So, now back to the Golem. We have an Ice Golem as well, which can also attack a specific target, and it freezes the enemies in place. You know, increasing the chance to get critically struck. This guy looks awesome. I love the look of the Ice Golem. This is the guy I keep around me all the time because he just looks sweet. So, back to what we were doing. Blood and Bone abilities. Bone Armor, again, another Necromancer ability from Diablo 2, I believe. Its 2 runes are increased damage dealt to enemies, and enemies hit are also stunned. Now, you're probably wondering, what are you talking about there, enemies hit? This ability, when activated, actually rips the bone from nearby enemies, dealing damage and creating armor that reduces damage taken per enemy hit to the Necromancer itself. So, we're going to go see if we can find some enemies right quick, and I can show you bone armor. Sure.
We have just arrived in Tristram.
Nope. I only want enemies. And there's going to be enemies down here. Yep. So we're going to run down here right quick and suck the bones from a bunch of them. And for some reason it's not showing up on her. But normally she would have this huge casing of bone around her that would look like a huge bone suit of armor. But for some reason it didn't pop up. It could just be a beta glitch. But you can also Google image Necromancer bone armor and it'll probably show up. But anyway, so that's what that does. It does hurt the enemies. Antique idol. Oh, it's a ring. So Army of the Dead, the other one. This is what it normally kind of looks like. Skeletal army knocks all affected enemies toward the center of it. And this is kind of what the Army of the Dead originally looks like. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that one a lot. But, so, with that, we will go to our... Oh, we also have curses, which curse enemies, obviously, like in Diablo 2. With Decrepify, it's a crippling curse that reduces the enemy unit's movement speed and damage done. So it basically slows them down and makes them useless. Its runes you get at level 35. Cursed enemies have a chance to be stunned when hit. Increase the potency of the movement speed reduction for the first 5 seconds. And gain a movement speed increase for every enemy cursed for a short time. So that would be used if you want to like get away from a certain specific group of enemies or something. Just kind of leave an area. You hit them with that, you can run away pretty quick. Then Leech. Curse the target area. Cursed enemies heal the attacker when they are struck. That's fairly useful because the Necromancer is a little bit squishy. Anyway, the runes for Leech are enemies that die while cursed will spread the curse to a nearby unaffected target. So that'll kind of basically make it contagious. And then Osmosis, each cursed enemy increases your life regeneration. So that's what Leech does. And then Frailty, the last curse you get. Basically a crippling curse that instantly kills enemies at low health. So useful if you want to be kind of a DPS mass murdering style Necromancer. Cursed enemies take increased damage from your minions. And then cursed enemies explode on death. We can always equip that and try to show you that real quick. Okay. And finally, we will get rid of our golem just because... Okay, blood and bone abilities. So I've shown you the bone armor. It didn't, for some reason, pop up, but, you know, it does. I promise you, it does have a case of bone armor that goes around the Necromancer. So Bone Spirit. Launch a Bone Spirit that will seek enemies, dealing damage on impact. This, you gain a charge every 15 seconds and can store up to 3 charges. So it's kind of like a charge-up ability where you have to wait for it to reload itself. Damage is increased for each enemy that Bone Spirit passes through while seeking its target. So we're going to go ahead and equip Bone Spirit there. And in our Army of the Dead slot, we will equip Bone Rush, which is shed your mortal flesh and reappear in another location. So it's kind of like a teleport. Increases your armor for a short time after casting. Cool beans. So, we'll talk to this guy, find some more enemies, show off these abilities. And that will be the end of this particular video because I'm just showing you the skill. Wait a minute, where did all my armor go? It's showing up there. Why is it not showing up there? I think that's a glitch with the bone armor going on right now because she's not wearing a helmet and her torso is different. because this is what I'm supposed to look like. That is what I look like currently. Maybe if I try bone armor again, it'll fix that. So let's check that out.
I knew Leoric was mad. This is just
And actually, you know what? The first group of enemies I'm going to curse. Oh, no! It fixed itself. Look at that. Okay, so they're cursed. And now bone armor. Okay, see there. It popped up now. Now I have the casing around me. I look like a beast. But, okay, so we're going to do bone spirit on this guy back here. And that's what bone spirit does. And then we're going to do, oh god, I'm getting cornered, blood rush over this way. And that's what that is. Oh, I still have that on ice spike too. Dang. But anyway, so that is all of the abilities and rune. Well, I lied to you. I have these primary abilities as well. So Grim Scythe, which you saw in the original video, didn't use much because I wasn't a big fan of it, but it does come with these runes, which are pretty sweet. It's Execution Rune. Enemies at low health have a chance to be decapitated and instantly killed, which is kind of sweet. Dual size, slash with 2 summoning size, dealing damage and pushing enemies together. Well, I'm in combat right now. There we go. Just get rid of that guy real quick. So I'll show you the dual sides. It looks like its range is a little shorter too. I don't know, but that's dual size. And then curse size, enemies have a chance to be inflicted with a random curse. Random curse. Yeah. Anyway, Siphon Blood. I didn't show you guys this in the original video because I don't think I had it. And if I did, I didn't use it. But Siphon the blood from target enemy, dealing damage and healing you. So it's a leech life. So with the runes we have so far, you pull nearby health globes to you while siphoning. Enemies are also slowed while you siphon blood from them, and damage increases the longer you siphon from the target. So, oh, I also have Death Nova to show you. And that will be the last one. So I'm going to show you Siphon Blood. Well, that's what it looks like. I mean, you know, doesn't deal a whole lot of damage, but it siphons blood and heals you at the same time, so... It kind of reminds me of Symmetra's primary attack from Overwatch, with the dealing damage the longer you hold it type thing. So that's Siphon Blood, and that's all the primary abilities, that's all the Blood and Bone abilities, all the curses. Well, the curses are a little difficult to show you because they kind of require other things going on as well, but... So I've shown you all the reanimation so far. I still don't have Land of the Dead, but that will unlock in 3 levels. So it's kind of exciting. So the Death Nova. The runes the Death Nova comes with. Each cast increases the radius of your next Death Nova. Ooh. So. Oh yeah, that gets pretty big, huh? Dang. Okay, that's pretty sweet. And then Tendril Nova releases a Nova of tendrils that damages all nearby enemies and heals you for each enemy hit. So it looks like that, and it does heal you for each enemy hit. I used that a little bit, played with it. It heals pretty well. It's not too bad. And then Blight. Leave a lingering patch of blight on the ground, slowing enemies and causing them to deal less damage. So it's kind of like those freezing abilities, where it's like that, and it didn't... I don't think it actually left anything. Okay, maybe it did for half a second, but... Anyway, so that is all the abilities and runes that the Necromancer has at level 35, which is halfway to max level. So that is something to look forward to. So now you've seen everything, you can kind of get an idea of what you want to use, what you want to play with, what you don't want to use, things like that. And the Necromancer looks outstanding. Just kick ass. I mean, that is... Oh, God, I love that helmet. It's just incredible. Oh, her armor set is amazing. And my minion, Miss Madeline. It was a port from my original character, my original wizard as well. So say hi to Miss Madeline. She's a doll. I love her. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me in this video. If you liked it, leave a like, drop a comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to press that little bell icon because I upload pretty much every day. Actually, I do upload every day now that I have found a little bit of time and I'm really diving into this YouTube thing. So thank you guys so much for joining me. It means the world. Let me know what you guys want to see in the next video. The next one I'm going to do, as far as the Necromancer is concerned, is going to be a level 70 video where I show off all of her ability, well, all of the abilities you haven't seen yet. And everything that she can do when she hits level 70. So, again, thank you guys so much, and I will see y'all later.